stuff, and I don't know, I was talking about the same things over and over again. So we're going to change things up. This is not going to be a video about lower back pain and wanting to kill myself. This is about escorts, hookers, prostitutes, whatever you want to call them, whores. I, in my videos, or know me well enough to where I'm comfortable, like, keeping it real and shit about, you know, who I am and what I do. Like, I don't see personally anything wrong with using the service of prostitutes and escorts. In fact, I would encourage it if you've not done it before. For one, there's a selection of reasons why I think it's a good thing. Number one, I'll go in order of like what I like best about it. Number one is okay, like, as a dude, you know, I think of myself as attractive, as far as like looks and personality and hygiene. You know, this goes into personality, but, you know, like, sense of humor, just ease of, you know, being around and getting along with. And I've dated some attractive girls, and I've dated some what I would consider to be very attractive girls. And I've also had, like, you know, one night stands and shit, and with girls that are attractive and some very attractive. What's it called? So it's not like I can't get women or whatever, but I don't know, man. Like, through my day-to-day, I'm kind of getting off topic a little bit, but in my day-to-day, I don't even really come across a lot of women that I'd even be interested in, like, dating or having sex with. Other than, like, just seeing, you know, women at, like, a grocery store or something. But I don't know, I just feel kind of weird, like, just going up and talking to them. Maybe that's just something in my own head, but I do feel like our culture, it's kind of like you're, like, bothering this person, or you're, like, you don't know what their situation is or whatever. But that, you know, that could just be a thing with me being too shy, or being a pussy, or whatever you want to call it. But I digress. What's it called? So to go back to the things that I think are good about prostitutes and escorts and shit is, number one, as a man, like, I very much enjoy having sex and getting my dick sucked. And I mean, if it was up to me, like, I would, you know, I'd bang everything in sight that I find attractive. You know, using the services of escorts and prostitutes, like, kind of lets you do, like, the amount of money that you have to spend. And in my experience, I've had them all the way from $80 to $160. And the way it works is it's usually done by the amount of time. So it's typical, it's like an hour or a half hour, or I like to do what's called a QV, which is a quick visit. Usually that's like 15-20 minutes, because especially with a girl that I find attractive and I haven't had, like, a sexual history with, I usually, like, don't last very long. Sometimes very short, actually. Like, sometimes I'll fucking bust a nut in, like, 20 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Like, I used to be self-conscious about it, but now I just think it's kind of funny. Like, it is what it is. Like, if I'm on a certain kind of drug, I can last longer. If I've known a girl and been intimate with her a few times, I'd last longer. You know, sometimes too long. Like, I've had before girls be like, you know, we'd be like fucking for like an hour. It hasn't happened in a while, but it has happened. And they'll be like, are you gonna be done anytime soon? Like, I'm starting to get, like, sore and shit. You're like, oh, okay, all right. And but I like, you know, being able to be with, like, different women and shit. And then that old, like, cliche of, like, I don't pay them to have sex with me, I pay them to leave. There's some truth to that. Like, sometimes you just you just want to like get that release, dude. You just want to like, to be crude, you just want to bust that nut and then move on to whatever else it is you got going on. You know what I'm saying? And you know, women are fucking humans, dude. Everyone comes with their own like unique set of baggage and issues and problems and things that they're working through in their lives. And you know, sometimes it's not that I just don't care. Like I don't like blanket. I'm not gonna like just blanket. Sorry about that. I don't know what's happening. I think I'm towards the end. I have like a good data plan, but even then, like towards the very end of it, it gets a little bit not great. I mean, it's still, I would say great, but I think I'm towards the end of the month in my data. But you know, sometimes like you have enough shit going on in your own life that you're not trying to like really like hear other people's shit, especially if it's someone that you don't like have an extensive or like relationship with or whatever. And because it can be stressful hearing about other people's shit. And so with like the hookers or whatever, like you do the deed and then you're done, like, and you know, you don't have to talk to that person again if you don't want to. I would say that's the number one thing about the hookers and shit, is like just getting, you know, that sexual getting rid of that like sexual urge, or at least being able to satisfy it. And on top of that, with like different, like a variety of women and shit. And then also like not having to like deal with any of the bullshit that comes along with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Broadway. Was that the exit? No, it's this one. So, you know, that's one thing. You don't, you get all the pros without really any of the cons, right? Because like being in a relationship is fucking work, dude. Oh, I hope I don't get in an accident right now. Please don't hit me. Being in a relationship is work, dude. Like some are easier than others, but you know, like I said, you're dealing with humans, like women, you know what I'm saying? They have emotions and problems and stuff, and you know, people fight and have disagreements. And I mean, I've dated like hot chicks before, and sometimes like, you know, I remember I had one girlfriend who was for me very, very attractive. I mean, I think she was objectively very attractive, but to me it was just like perfect. But even her, like, and her, for example, she was like fucking perfect aside from like the 3 to 4 days before she started her period, in which she was a cunt. Like, she could be a cunt or like a bitch or whatever you want to say. So I would avoid her and shit like during that time. And so that's what I'm saying, like, not, you know, relationship is, you know, work, and sometimes it's like not pleasant, you know what I'm saying, which can be rewarding working through that. But you know, like I was saying, like sometimes you just want to like fuck and then like, you know, move on to the next thing. So I would say the number 2 thing, and you could, at least for me, this is arguably almost like as important or like beneficial or whatever as the sex is, and it's the courage, dude. Like, it's, you know how when you're with a woman for the first time, or dude, for you gay guys or chicks who may be watching this, you get fucking, there's like this nervous, like, adrenaline rush, kind of like, and then you get like doubt in your head, like, you know, self-conscious about things, or, you know, you worry about, like, am I going to be able to, I know at least for me and other dudes I've talked to, like, sometimes you might think, like, oh, am I going to be able to get my dick hard? Am I going to be able to, you know, last more than 15 seconds? Like, whatever, you know? And it's no different when you do this with a fucking prostitute. Like, you get the same insecurities and nervousness. And I've been in contact with hookers before and made an arrangement to like come to where they're at, and I'm literally like outside of wherever they're at, whether it's a hotel or a house or whatever, and my mind like, oh, you should just go, like, don't do it, like, blah blah blah. So for me, you know, after the deed is done, I get a high from the fact that I had fear and I fucking like did it anyway. And I found that with other shit too. Like, I went I had a back thing done a couple of Thursdays ago, like an epidural steroid injection, and that shit was scary, dude. Like, I don't think anyone does like hospitals or dentists or anything, but I am very, I don't like it, dude. They make me nervous, and you know what I'm saying? Like my blood pressure changes, and I like sweat. And after I got that, I was like, you know, when you park and you're like, fuck, like, what am I getting myself into? But you fucking do it anyway. After that procedure was done, and it wasn't pleasant. Like, it wasn't the worst thing I've been through, but it was like not like it wasn't a great experience. You get a fucking big ass needle jammed in your fucking back, dude. And they're supposed to give you a fucking like some kind of like anesthesia to like make you out of it, but I didn't get that. You know what I'm saying? So I was like wide awake. But after it was done, like I felt like this rush, like I fucking faced my fear, and like I did something I didn't want to do and shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with the prostitutes or whatever. It's like you like work through your fear, and then once it's over with, you're like, oh, that wasn't that bad. In fact, it was pretty good. And what's it called? You feel a fucking high from facing your fear, dude. That's a very real thing. And I think that's right up there with the actual like act itself, like in the gratification you get from, you know, sex. Or in my case, I really like to get a good old BBBJ. And for any of y'all watching that aren't up on the lingo, that's a bareback blowjob. And then the best is when you could do the good old-fashioned CIM, which is a cum in mouth. For me, I don't know, there's just something really like intimate and satisfying about like getting my dick sucked and like ejaculating in someone's mouth. Like that's just my jam, dude. I fucking love that shit. Even when I've like dated girls and stuff, like if you give me the option between like sex and a blowjob, like I'm getting that motherfucking blowjob. But I'll talk about this more. I'm pulling up to where I'm at now, and the video's at 12 and a half minutes already. I like to probably keep it around in between 10 and 15. So I'm gonna start doing this every day. So just stay tuned. I'm just talk about like other shit like prostitutes and you know, my back pain and everything. So I hope you guys get some kind of utility out of this, whether it's amusement or maybe the courage for you to go try something that you're kind of afraid of or apprehensive about. And then I'll continue on with what I like about hookers and shit on the next video, maybe later today or tomorrow. So